Hey, we're back again. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. A little bit gray outside. We had a couple days of amazing weather. I hope you got a chance to enjoy it. Go to Central Park, take a bike ride. Um, I didn't do as much of that as I wanted to be quite honest. Just been very busy with work, but um, I like rainy day walks, so I might do that a little later on today. The weather's still great, but you know how that goes, right? It'll be great weather, and then after a while the humidity builds up and then you get a thunderstorm. So that's what we're kind of dealing with now, but um, nonetheless, definitely in good spirits. Pretty excited today. What's today? Today's the 29th of April. I was just made privy to the fact that a new Netflix series, an anime actually dropped, which chronicles the life of, and I pulled this up on the laptop, Yasuke, who was maybe the first and only African samurai, definitely the earliest recorded, I believe. So I'm reading this USA Today article that just kind of gives the high points. You know, he apparently arrived in Japan in 1579 with an Italian Jesuit, and apparently they say he may have been a slave, but at some point he was hired to protect this missionary across Asia. And at some point in his journey, he met Nobunaga, Oda Nobunaga. If you ever played Samurai Warriors growing up, it was a very popular PlayStation game, kind of similar to Dynasty Warriors. You're very familiar with that name. He was kind of the one of the people you had to fight. So he met Nobunaga at a certain point in his journey, and I'm just kind of like taking certain pieces out of the paragraphs. And upon meeting Nobunaga, Nobunaga took a look at him, and he was about 6'2", you know, a huge guy, obviously, you know, in Asia. And Nobunaga hired him to sit alongside him as he achieved the rank of page or bodyguard to Nobunaga. So what an amazing and unique story. So this anime kind of chronicles his journey, which I think is pretty interesting. So I have to see. I hope it doesn't lean too much into entertainment versus being historically accurate. So we'll see. But yeah, that's kind of something I'm looking forward to. I have to resubscribe to Netflix. I haven't used Netflix in a while. I think like many of you, I hit a wall sometimes with those streaming services where like, although there's new movies, you feel like you've seen everything. So I was like, why am I still paying for this? So I might have to subscribe and watch that. But you know, kind of speaking of content, I wanted to jump on here to talk about like kind of a little update on my content journey, particularly with shooting videos, and I started taking it real seriously at the top of 2020, leading off of the Better with Troy series, and at that point I was pretty uncomfortable getting in front of the camera. More specifically, I was uncomfortable with me shooting, editing, and uploading videos of me in front of the camera, because at that point I was on camera for other like professional events, and I did a series with Baruch College where I was giving insights on how to enter the advertising and the marketing field, the PR field. So I was comfortable in front of the camera, but I wasn't so sure about my capacity to do it. And you know, one not milestone, but one moment that I look at to kind of reflect on how far I've come just in terms of comfortability is I remember in the early days of shooting Better with Troy, you know, those early few months, I remember one video I got a lot of love on, and like I wanted to shoot like a 15-second story just saying, hey, appreciate the love on the video, I'm gonna keep posting these as much as I'm able to, love you all, something like that. It took me, for a 15-second video, it took me 30 minutes, no lie, and I'm ashamed to say it took me 30 minutes outside of my apartment, you know, right outdoors, and it took me 30 minutes to shoot a 15-minute video, because I was just so conscious about the lighting. It was nighttime, so I was trying to get the lighting right. And I was like, come on. Like, I remember towards the end of it, I was like, what am I doing? And I think I just shot it and just like uploaded it, and just like I didn't care at that point. But at a certain part of the journey, I want to say maybe even a couple months ago, after just meditating on that moment and others, and just my hesitation with shooting and uploading things, I asked myself like a pivotal question, which I invite you to do the same, particularly those of you who are content creators, or want to do more video content, right? You being in front of the camera is, the question I asked myself is, what are you protecting? I kept asking myself that. What are you protecting? And that was a question that kind of stumped me. I was happy that I came to that question. It was a needed question, but it took me a while to kind of answer that. And I took a lot of things into consideration in answering that. And I remember having conversations with friends of mine who, one in particular, who, his whole thing was, hey, well, you have this public image or this platform, where, for the last couple of years, almost close to a decade, like, I've been doing workshops, and, well, I've been doing workshops more than a decade, but having write-ups on me, features, even now with, I'm speaking at conferences and this, that, and another. So there's this public platform, and he was saying, well, that's probably hindering you because you're probably having a hard time showing the full extension of yourself. And in some parts that was accurate. I think in meditating on that point, as well as just trying to answer the question, I realized that what I was trying to protect was not so much an image, but I was trying to protect normalcy, right? Like I was with those experiences, for better or for worse, created was a certain expectation, right? Like, okay, well, this is the way that they want me, right? Like, giving insights and, being a model professional. And I wasn't putting on an act. I'm not putting on an act. I've always been this way. You can ask anyone I know. I've been this way since I was in high school. I've always been this degree of like kind of professional relative to what you would consider casual, right? So the ratio has always been the same, but I was protecting a level of normalcy. And that was kind of a big moment for me in terms of just having an epiphany. And once I answered that, I then asked myself, like, well, what type of content are you looking to post? Are you doing like some type of Steve-O things, jumping out of cars? And I was like, no, like I'm just posting helpful insights and advice. And it's like, okay, well, then what are you so stuck up about? Like, just get on with it. And just those insights really helped me to get a lot more comfortable in front of the camera, right? I'm a big fan of the Socratic method, as I may have mentioned in an earlier video, which is basically, using questions to gain better insights, right? Whether it's a self-meditation type of thing, or even a conversation. So that exercise really helped me. Those questions really helped me. But then here came something else, right? I was like, okay, well, I'm of that unique percentage of people that have a public platform, but then how come my friends who didn't have that, how come they were having trouble producing content? Why did they experience some hesitation? And then upon thinking on that, I realized that just as influential external expectation or external platforms may be to kind of shaping how you choose to present yourself, we all have a self-image that we want to uphold. And quite naturally, if you have a healthy mind, you usually look at yourself in a very positive way. So when it comes to making videos, in particular, yourself in front of the video, you're really making yourself vulnerable to judgment. People can disagree, they can have counterpoints, and you might not always be there, like in a conversation, to just like snap and defend yourself or give another point of view. So while they make their comments or whatever that might be, like there might be some time that pass and that might pile up. So there's a great vulnerability with producing videos, but again, that insight being that our self-image arguably is even more of an influence in our actions and how we what we choose to involve ourselves in, that gave me the clarity as to why they were having trouble producing content, maybe why you might be having trouble producing content, right? So again, and trying to overcome that and being more comfortable producing videos, like ask yourself, what are you protecting, right? Again, for me, it was a sense of normalcy, right? Just kind of the status quo, like, well, this is what I do. This is preferential. Let me keep doing this. But then over time, I learned that, hey, there's more to me than just that, right? There's me as an artist, a poet. There's me as just a human being. And I wanted to showcase that. So in addition to posting content that echoed those different layers of my life, I also began to intentionally upload videos that I saw flaws in. So whether I had, an angle that didn't really favor me, or the lighting wasn't great, when I noticed that in the playback, I began to slowly upload those videos as well, because I seen them as a useful. I seen it as a useful strategy to begin to chip away, and it has, to chip away at that perfect self-image, that perfect image in general that we all try to uphold, right? And once you upload it and a day goes by, 2 days go by, and you're kind of like this, and like, the world's not coming at you, you don't got a bunch of messages saying, look at that, then you realize that, hey, the world's not over. I still have another day to live and produce content. Let me just keep at this thing. So again, chipping away at that ego, chipping away at that yearn to put yourself in the most perfect light is really essential for consistency. And I think that people really appreciate authenticity. We all have flaws. We all have things that we hope people don't see. But again, when it comes to, like, look at this ambulance, right? I mean, is that a cop car or an ambulance? Like, I have this going all the time. Like, shooting content in the city is just so impossible in terms of noise pollution. But I hope wherever they're going to do, they get their safety and the person is okay. But just aside from that, this is the reality of shooting content. This is the reality of being a human being. Nothing just goes according to plan, and people appreciate that. That you're trying your best, you're putting your best effort, you're being authentic, and that's what I hope to do with this and other videos. So I hope you guys stick around, and like I said, meditate on those questions, and I'm always here to help. And I wish you well on your content journey. Bye-bye.